It's a pretty big deal to have a woman become the head of the central bank of the United States. So, the Federal Reserve is our equivalent of a central bank. And there are women heading central banks. The Israelis just appointed a woman. But I thought it was going to be a lot longer before we got a woman in that seat in the U.S. So that's a pretty big milestone for women professionals and for women leaders. Janet Yellen is a fiscal expansionist and believes that this economy still needs loose fiscal and monetary policy, and so that's her stance. Her first challenge is that she's got Congress in charge of fiscal policy, and nobody seems to be able to get Congress to think about the long term. So that's going to leave her having to drive the economy solely through one of the two steering wheels, monetary policy. And it may be that all she can do is try and counterbalance the non-policy of the other side of the government. So that's a pretty big challenge. Second problem that we get is the way the Fed put its foot on the accelerator was to buy lots of financial assets from outside. And when you buy financial assets, you're putting cash into the economy. So that's how the Fed put its foot on the accelerator. It bought all kinds of bonds. Where are those bonds now? They're on the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve. And some of those things are holding their value and will hold their value forever. Not all of those assets that the Fed bought are a long-term good value necessarily. So in order to get the economy out of recession, the Fed had to pile up on some somewhat risky assets. So over the longer term, the challenge that Janet Yellen faces is how to keep the Fed, which is ultimately a bank, perfectly stable. The only thing that the Fed can do about unemployment, especially if the Congress isn't doing anything, is keep expanding the money supply. And that's not a very direct, targeted way of trying to fix the unemployment problem. So all she can really do is keep it from getting worse. There's not a whole lot that she can do to get folks trained for the new economy and solve the unemployment problem. She's got a very, very blunt tool.